So earlier today, CARE, the Council for American Islamic Relations, published a clip of a Twitter space that had a bunch of pro-Israel activists. There was, I don't know, 150 or so of them. In that Twitter space, which is basically a live event, for those that don't know, there was a bunch of pro-Israeli supporters that were essentially plotting to try to do Rashida Tlaib some harm when she was expected to attend CARE Arizona event, the annual banquet last week. Their goal was to target her in one way or another, but the conversation quickly devolved into bringing a handgun to the event to try to target her in some way. There was talk of shouting all kinds of stuff, very vulgar stuff, but then there was a lot of talk of how to get there with a gun, about how Arizona is a constitutional carry state. It's some pretty scary stuff. Now, CARE reported the audio to the authorities prior to the event. They didn't release it publicly until today, which was roughly about a week after their annual banquet in Arizona. Again, it's really alarming. In a minute, I'm going to play you the clip, the short clip of where they're discussing weapons and stuff. But if you go to the CARE website, they have a much longer clip, which is about 7 minutes long. And when you hear how these people are talking, you wonder how they can ever accuse anyone else of terrorism. Clearly, for people like that, when they use the T word, it's projection. As you can see in the CARE press release, they show, so Stealth, what I'm hearing is that if you want to, you have to do it from far away. There's a screenshot of the longer clip that I just mentioned, and there's also a statement. One of the things that they highlight here is how the Islamophobic and anti-Palestinian rhetoric is, and how bad it's gotten, and how nobody's really talking about it, because you have groups like the ADL and you have AIPAC who are constantly talking about anti-Semitism. But as I mentioned in my article that I did for Unicorn Riot last week, the ADL weaponizes anti-Semitism against a lot of communities, particularly Arab communities, the Black community, even the Latino community. Here, the executive director from CARE Arizona says, "We thank the American Muslim X user who took the time to monitor and report this disturbing conversation. We also thank law enforcement for quickly acting to investigate this incident. And we thank everyone who ensured that Rep. Tlaib's visit to Arizona was ultimately safe and successful." And again, while it was safe and successful, you know how it is with cops sometimes. They can be pretty one-sided and they're typically pretty right-wing. I'm just glad that none of this turned to be anything more than just a bunch of talk. And I presume it's because of law enforcement involvement. In a second, I'll be playing you this clip because I want you to hear what they said.
It's one of, I can't remember how many states are in our constitution, but yeah, so we were one of the first states, so you do not need any of that. But either way, there's going to be wands, guys. So for anybody out there who's recording, yada, yada, there's wands at every single event.
But who would even want to bring a gun to an event like that? That's dangerous and not smart. That's like, I would never do such a thing. And plus, there's security there, and you're not allowed to bring weapons to something like an event like that, unless you're like a police officer or security, and you're. I would not travel with a gun from another state.
Stealth, what I'm hearing is that if you want to shoot her at the event, you need to do it from
far away.
Okay,
shut the fuck up and drop his ass.
Yeah. Arizona is one of.
Clearly, you heard it. So the thing is that we're in a very trying time. Hate speech has been on the rise since before Trump got elected, since Obama got elected, actually. A lot of anti-Black hate was coming out when Obama was in office just because they hated that he was there. But then when Trump took office, a lot of anti-Semitism, a lot of Latinophobia, a lot of just generalized hate towards many marginalized groups, the LGBTQ community, Black people, like I said, Muslims, Latinos, a lot of us were being targeted. So this is a time to stay vigilant. Be aware of your surroundings. And man, if you see this anywhere in your proximity, for the love of God, call it out. Call it out. You can't let these people just go around running their mouths, because the guy standing next to you may not be the next mass shooter. Then again, he might be. I'll post the link to the CARE article in the caption below.